What would it be like to be a UX researcher? User experience researcher? Still not really sure what that's all about? Don't worry about it. I've got this great guest lined up, Lindsey DeWitt Prat, a professional within the field, who's going to break it all down. But I will tell you, it is ultra fascinating, as are the insights that she shares. And we get into things like the rewards, the challenges, some of the soft skills that are required of a good UX researcher. We also take a look at the future of the industry, where it's going, the influence of AI, and a bunch of other things. So I certainly encourage you to watch this video. You can also check out the full-length conversation wherever you access your podcast. Just do a search for Life as a ... All right, well, let's get into this. Well, it probably makes sense to get an overview of what UX research is. So here's Lindsey breaking it down for us.
Excellent UX research is so much about excellent questions. Digging deep into the problem space. And that's where you come up with the roadmap for how to improve or create from scratch something that's really meaningful and emotional, provokes the right kind of emotions and is accessible and can be really used in a way that makes people's lives better.
Now, I'm sure that gives you a broad overview of what it's all about, but I do have to say that we had this really engaging discussion where we deep dive into the weeds about what UX research is. And here's Lindsey adding a little bit more insight to that.
How to capture the experience, how you feel, how easy or not easy it is to use something. Is it enjoyable? Is it frustrating, distracting? Does it make your life better? I think one of the super interesting and honestly radical things about UX research is that it's implying a big ego shift. So it's all about the people on the other end. It's not just about the people with the money who are creating the things.
Yeah.
It really puts it front and center and puts the emphasis on who the other end is. So it's stepping outside of that space of I'm creating something, people are going to love it, to the actual reality of the user on the other end.
Now, at this point in the conversation, at least I myself was starting to get a better overview of what the job's all about, but I still kind of wanted to know about, the workflow details or the different roles and responsibilities within UX research. So here's Lindsey adding a little bit more insight on that side of the work.
More recently, I've done some really deep co-creative projects with clients where we come up with the questions together. We write all the, whether it's surveys or recruitment screeners or all the documentation, the discussion guide, and then execute the interviews together. And so there's different dimensions. It's like, where are you? It's the same research process, but like, are you in the seat of the interviewer? Are you taking notes?
Right.
Are you the one overseeing it? Are you the one overseeing the overseeing at the really global level?
Yeah.
All about scale and vantage points.
Next up, I wanted to have a look at the soft skills within this profession, because I think it's really easy to have a look at like technical skills and what you need, and they're often written up in, job overviews and whatnot, but it's the soft skills that can really mean all the difference. So here is a bit of a playful conversation that we had where I was asking Lindsey to share her takes on a few different elements that are, associated with UX research.
Communication.
As important as water. You don't have it, you don't survive.
Yeah.
Communication is everything.
Empathy.
Empathy is the driving force. It's what moves us and what we always need to keep tracking. It's like the compass almost.
Problem solving.
Ooh, the detective work. It's the process of moving through that space, the experience of empathizing.
Okay. Curiosity.
The spark.
Nice. Collaboration.
Collaboration is like it can be a really amazing vehicle, gets you somewhere faster, better, smarter with friends, but it's also like a teacher, because when you collaborate with people, you have different perspectives, you get checked, you check yourself, you do some checking too. So I would say, vehicle and teacher.
There's one more point within this discussion that we had that really stood out to me, and it's what I didn't want to gloss over and actually, draw a reference to here within this highlights video. And here's Lindsey sharing her ideas about, another thing that we really have to keep our eye on as far as, making new products, making new services. And I really like this point.
If we think about UX research more and more these days in terms of like responsible design, ethical design, accessibility, emotional reactions, experiences that will make the world a better place, like maybe we should be thinking about compassion as a replacement term. It's like the one up, the add one to the empathy that we see in lots of UX stuff.
Moving on, there was something else that really stood out to me within this conversation, and it was this international aspect of it all. I mean, Lindsey herself has this really fascinating background where she's lived in, I think, 4 or 5 different countries. She's traveled to several more, and those experiences, they stay with you, right? They certainly do. Now, as far as how they rub off, how they can be manifested within the line of UX research, I think her answer was really insightful. So check this out.
So my collective international life experience really impacts my day-to-day work as a UX researcher. It manifests in all my communications. I can talk a little bit about a recent research project I've been doing where I interviewed 26 different UX researchers in 26 different countries.
Wow.
And just the inviting, speaking with them, scheduling the interviews, having meaningful conversations, that all, I feel like I'm living in lots of different cultures and having that curiosity and drive to travel and rooted in an empathetic, compassionate mindset.
Now, in this next question, I want to know what appeals to Lindsey about this line of work. And I think this is a really great question. Yeah, there we go. I know. It's a really great question because it helps, get to the heart, get to the core of what the job's all about. And it tells you a lot. And I think it's helpful for those who are considering the line of work. You can really sort of get a good idea of whether or not some of these aspects could appeal to you as well.
Sure. For me, UX research is a place where I can really tap into the creativity, strategy, decision-making in ways that I find intellectually stimulating, socially engaging, and also, that let me build a life for me and my family too. We're able to support ourselves. So
next up, the elephant in the room, AI, right? We all want to know about this in every industry, every profession. So here's Lindsey speaking about AI and its potential impact within UX research.
Okay, this is here. It's going to probably change my world. We're not going to know exactly how yet.
Yeah.
But what sort of inroads can I make to understanding this machine and how to interact with it? So it's a huge topic on the mind of, me personally, all the researchers I spoke with, my company at the Bold Insight level, and then at our global level. It's really become this, it's the elephant in the room.
The last clip I want to show you here relates to career wisdom. And this sort of just came up naturally in the course of our conversation. But what Lindsey shares here, I think broadly applies to anyone who's looking at a new profession, making a change. It really does hit home. So yeah, check this out.
One of my favorite quotes of Japanese author Murakami Haruki is, "Chance encounters are what keep us going." So being open to like these suggestions, these nudges, the things you've never heard about, but it might be really a good fit for you.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Nice. More times than not, even within the segment, this pathway segment, like it's things like this. It's through reflection that people find their way. It's through, I don't know, accidents, almost like just chance encounters or conversations with others. Like it's so rarely do I find, or I have a guest say that it was just like this linear path, like just, I beelined right towards where I wanted to go.
Well, this might be a good point to draw this conversation to a close, but I'm sure you've already noticed though, Lindsey herself, very insightful, very articulate. In the full-length conversation that we had, 45, 50 minutes, we really get into a lot of these issues and so many more. So I encourage anyone who's interested in pursuing this or wants to know more, check out the full-length conversation. You can do so wherever you access your podcast. Just do that search for Life as a ... Now, I do have one last favor to ask here. subscribe, like. I know, it's a little bit tacky. I always feel a bit weird asking it, but it's the only way that this YouTube algorithm knows that content matters. So the more people, of course, that like or subscribe, it tells YouTube that this content deserves to be put in front of others. And by doing so, hey, I mean, we could be setting people up. We could be setting you up, or somebody that you know who's a little bit undecided about their future. You know, they watch a video and then they find what they're looking for. They find their profession. They find the next 30, 40 years of their life. So yeah, I think, again, I could be biased, but I think this content matters. It deserves to be put in front of a bunch of people. So the best way to do it, like and subscribe. All right, well, I do look forward to the next video, sharing that with you, and seeing you next time. All right, until then.